Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before everybody sits down, I'd like to take just a couple seconds to give honor to Donald Trombley, who passed away last week. So if we could just have a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. And we'd like to thank Mr. Trombley for 46 years of service to the town in one capacity or another. So he certainly will be missed. He did a lot for our town, and just want to make sure that we recognize him for that. Thank you. Actually, Shay's here now, so I guess what we'll do is we'll do the public hearings first. This time we're going to open up the public hearing for our Time Warner contract. We've renegotiated with Time Warner, and it's been an ongoing thing for probably 2 years now, but we finally got our contract ready, and it was up for public to come in and take a look at it. And if anybody would like to address the board on the public hearing for the public Time Warner contract, please stand, state your name, and discuss what you would like to say. Pat, would you? Oh, sorry. Anybody? Okay, we'll close the public hearing for the Time Warner contract renewal, and we will go on to the public hearing for the planning board zoning proposal changes. Anybody would like to address the board on those changes? Okay, we will close the public hearing on the planning board zoning proposal changes. At this time, we're going to do the awards for the surplus equipment for the highway department and roof repairs.
Okay, the 1984 Diesel International 84 tractor, the high bid was Donald Deaton for $6,101. The 1979 Diesel MF 31 tractor, RG Blaze, $1,750. 1971 Gas International bucket truck, Dan Leduc, $1,655. And the 1979 Ford F600 flatbed truck, Andrew Arnold, $676.
So we do have a resolution to adopt those bids.
Okay.
Are we going to do it now, or do you want to do it now? Okay, go ahead. Why don't we do it now? All right.
I'll second it.
Request.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilor Richard West, seconded by Councilor Jerry Dino. Awarding of the bid to the Chazy surplus highway equipment to the 4 high bidders, in which I just read. Any further discussion on this? Okay, roll call. Councilor West?
Yes.
Councilor Dino?
Yes.
Councilor Evans?
Yes.
Supervisor Spiegel?
Yes. Now we will open up the bids for the roof repair projects. We've already opened them. And I'm going to tell you the results.
Okay, the bids were to be in at 10 o'clock this morning. I had originally one one bid that came in just prior to 10 o'clock. And a second one came in at 5 minutes after 10, or about 2 minutes after the guy that brought me the first bid had left. So he's unaware of the second bid. Whether there's any problem with the time limit being 5 minutes late.
When were the bids supposed to be read and open?
10 a.m. this morning.
It's late. It's a late bid, I guess. That's why you have a deadline for the submission of the bid. I agree with that. I mean, at this point, if there is more than one bid, now you know there's more than one person interested in bidding, the board could reject the bids, the one bid that was received and rebid it. Or
Will I
except for one
say
bid
what
we
the
have.
two bids are? Do you know?
The one bid that was late, I wouldn't consider.
Well, the one bid that we got at 10 o'clock was from B&E Development, Plattsburgh, New York. And the total cost he had is $14,870. We submitted insurance papers and a non-inclusive bidding certificate.
Now that is just to put furring strips down and install that metal on that side of the garage.
The specifications are,
The specifications are to install 2,000 feet of 1x4 furring strips, install approximately 300 feet of 1x8 furring strips, install approximately 240 feet of drip edge, install approximately 160 feet of various hip and transition flashings, install approximately 3,200 square feet of grand rib 3 galvanized metal roofing top and bottom closure strips, 5 snow guards, and 680 feet of the 1/4 by 3/16 side lap tape. We specified that the materials all here on site, all figures are approximate. It's the responsibility of the bidder to check out the job prior to bidding, which these gentlemen did. And they had to make sure that they would pay prevailing wages and give us a certified payroll after the work was completed and provide insurance.
14,000 something?
14,870.
I think we reject it and start over. Stuff's been sitting there for almost a year, so another month not gonna make any difference. Just to try it, and that way we'll be able to know what the second bid is. I have no idea, plus or minus, what it is, but
Another 30 days isn't going
I'm gonna make a better difference, like I say.
to say we re-advertise it too.
For
For the amount of money to re-advertise, throw in the paper one more time. Maybe other people will get interested on the second time and really will see it, but
Okay, you want to do a resolution then, they're rejecting this bid that we received and to re-advertise.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Councilor Devens made the motion, second by Councilor Dino, that we reject the bid that we received and to re-advertise again to see if we get a different fee. Roll call, any further discussion? Roll call, Councilor West,
Yes.
Councilor Devens,
Yes.
Councilor Dino,
Yes.
Supervisor Springer.
Yes. All right, before we start the regular meeting, I don't know if anybody's been down to our playground in Chazy, but we have a beautiful, beautiful new playground due to a lot of hard work of Shay and her committee, which raised public funds and did a phenomenal job, did all the work to get the playground ordered, installed, and put together, and the kids are loving it down there. So tonight, we just wanted to recognize some of the people on the committee for all their hard work. I know on Home Day, they're going to do a presentation to the Widalls, which was one of the major contributors, and So I just wanted to, recognize the committee today. And basically, we wanted to give you a certificate of recognition. The Chazy Town Board recognizes, and we're going to name each one of you off, for the dedication they have brought forth in developing a new playground for the Chazy Recreation Park. Your time and efforts to bring this project to conclusion is truly appreciated. And we want to recognize Shay and SK. Is that how you say your last name?
Yes.
And that's a tough one. Beryl Pilon. Kisa Parent is not here. Would you be able to? Jen Langlois, not here. Chris Lattimore was on that committee. Thank you, Chris. Jim Lucas is not here. Gary Email. Thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate it. He's done a tremendous amount of work. And,
Not to be said that, Tim and his men did a lot of work over there, and there was a lot of participation from the Lions Club, and we appreciate all the help we've got, and like you say, the kids are really enjoying it.
Alan Roberts.
And I'm going to turn over the manuals,
Okay.
and I also have a receipt of the purchase of the playground and the receipt for the mulch, so that you'll have the information.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Bill. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything you've done. Has everybody seen it yet? I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I did talk to Timmy today about taking the fencing down, because I went down and the grass is growing up very nicely down there. I think it's ready to take the fence down.
South or northeast side is still soft, but I don't think the kids are gonna get down in there. And it's ready. The benches, we had to order today, some brackets. We don't wanna put them benches down there unsecured to the concrete, so we had to order the brackets to secure to the concrete.
Okay. And I talked to Timmy today, and when you're ready, just give us a call and he'll give you a man to help you. But Shay, I mean, really, she was the one that came forward with Ellen as a group, a pair of them, and what a fantastic job. I think we need to give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
The other thing that we're going to do tonight, just, we had an employee retire from the town, Danny Wells. He could not be here tonight. He is ill. He's got laryngitis pretty bad, I guess. But we did want to give him a presentation because Danny's been here for 31 years. So we said, congratulations, Chazy Town Board recognizes Daniel Wells for 31 years of dedicated service at the Chazy Highway Department. Many thanks for all you have done, and enjoy your retirement. So I will make sure that Danny gets this. That's it for, unless you guys want to stay for the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we're going to get, before we start, we have Burnham Financial, who is our health provider, and she's just got some information on the new health plan, so she wants to speak to us for a few minutes.
I'm going to sit right in here. That's okay. Yeah, another day without rain. That's that record. Everyone has one of those are pens. Burnham Financial. I just wanted to take a few minutes and come here tonight just to give you an update on healthcare reform. And let you know not to worry. And since, I'm short one here, so. Maybe you can see, okay, thank you, thanks. I have a different notes now. I think it was Tuesday night, we put a seminar on plastic, Susan was there, and talking about healthcare reform and all the changes that are going to occur January 1st, 2014. Many of them are still going to happen. The biggest change or delay now is the mandate for employers that are 50 or more employees are not required to provide health insurance. So all the penalties that are associated with this have been pushed back every year. And that was actually the seminar, our fourth one. And here are all the things you need to do to get your ducks in a row. So there's some pushback. So this is really a work in progress, constantly changing, evolving, and so forth. But really, when it comes down to it, we're a small group here, and we're a group under 50. So really, a lot of the penalties and guidelines that we had to follow anyway didn't apply to us. So at the end of the day, it really didn't change much for the groups under 50. A lot of things are still moving forward. So I just wanted to take a minute, just hit some of the highlights on our agenda here, and this is more of just a relief behind for you. One of the things we did, in hindsight, I think this was very smart, little did we know, our renewal date for the health insurance here is December 1st, for the active plan. Retirees are on January 1st, and our vision plan is January 1st. But, the bulk of all of our funds here goes towards health insurance. We have a dental plan that just renewed for August 1st. But the big bulk is our health insurance, and we're roughly paying, almost $200,000 a year just for our active plan. And we put that to a 12/1 date. So that's been renewed in 2013. So this really is not going to affect us until 2014 December, or possibly, who knows, until the provisions hit, or it always goes on the anniversary date, until 2015. So we're in a good place from that standpoint. One of the things that we did last year, was in a recap, when I met with Staub and with Susan about, how do we balance the budget, how do we look at benefits and so forth, we transitioned, I should say, our 65-plus retirees from a traditional Medicare plan over to a Medicare Advantage plan. We saved significant dollars while maintaining a very high level of benefits and plus enhancing benefits. So it was really a win-win situation, I think, for everybody, and a big savings to the town. So that was a very good move. And it looks like the funding from the government on these Medicare Advantage plans will continue as strong as it did last year. So we're going to see the result of those savings, a positive effect of that, I think, for the next couple of years. So that's all well and good. So in this agenda, this kit, there's lots of information here that could put you to sleep in a minute. I'll leave that for you before you go to bed. But on the right-hand side of your agenda of the kit is the agenda. And, we all know last year the Supreme Court said health insurance, healthcare reform is going forward. The individual mandate, you must have health insurance, is going to be valid and constitutional. So next year, every U.S. citizen is required to have health insurance. And if you don't, you're going to pay a tax. And the tax is going to be $95 or 1% of your income, which is rated. And each year there will be an index and it will increase moving forward. So that's not going away. That's still going to move forward. The exchanges are going to open up. It's going to be an online marketplace. Open enrollment starts October 1st. We'll go to March, I think, of 2014. And the real emphasis is it's going to be on individuals. So individuals are going to be able, it's going to be a new access point for individual people who don't have insurance through their employer, or maybe they can't afford it through their employer, that they're going to have the ability to go online and purchase health insurance. The only way that health insurance plan is going to be affordable is basically because of the subsidies that will be available. Okay? Now, how does this affect this mandate that's being pushed back? It's really, an article came out today in the Washington Post that said, well, they're going on the honor system. So when people are applying for subsidies, there's no way to really check because the mandate's not in place with employers to see if the health insurance that they're providing their employees is affordable. Because if you're paying more than 9.5% of your income towards health insurance, and you're within 400% of the poverty level, which means if you earn less than $44,000 basically, you can get a subsidy. So the lower you are in the pay scale, the higher the subsidy. So there's not going to be any verification unless you're going to be on your honor to do that. So that's going to affect. But that could change. And this is just the ink still drying on the newsprint with that. But by the end of July and the beginning of August, there's going to be more clarification on how this is going to work. So what does it really mean at the end of the day? Lots of confusion. But for the employees here, we are in fine shape. What's going to happen in probably end of August, beginning of September, there's going to be a marketing blitz. I'm really just talking about the agenda here. We're going to get mailers that are going to be sent to the town, they're going to be sent to your home. If you remember when Part D prescription drug cards came out, anyone who was on an AARP list or was close to being Medicare eligible, your parents probably didn't, or yourself, you got something in the mail that said, come sign up for this drug card. And you're going to see that when it comes to healthcare reform. Come sign up for this health plan. And you're going to come into Susan and say, are we losing our health insurance? And basically, no, there's not going to be. So what we think we're going to do, or we're already trying to do it with some of our larger groups, is that we're gonna meet with employees if they want and say, how does this affect me? You know, because I think that would take a lot of the angst out. So maybe we'll do an employee meeting, if we make any changes to our health plan, you know, this coming year, depending on how the rates are gonna look like, you know, we can certainly do that, just to answer any questions and how it may relate to someone in their own family. That's a service that we're gonna provide along with groups. We've done it already, it was one of our larger groups, and it seemed to, be very well received. But that was when they said you had to have health insurance for all groups, you wouldn't be doing it, so, I'm sure we'll have some pushback on that. But, this year, when you're doing the W-2s, you're gonna have to report on the W-2s that what the gross cost of health insurance is, so I think that's very transparent. That will have to take place in January, so that's not changing. All the insurance companies have to give you this document, that's the same no matter what carrier it is, that outlines your benefits, make it easy for the consumer to purchase, so every carrier will have the same uniform summary of benefits, and that's a requirement. We don't have a flexible spending account, so we don't have to worry about that here. There's going to be a notification, and we'll supply those for the town, letting the employees know that you can go to the exchange. In addition to getting something in the mail, it's now a government requirement that your employer give you a document. So we'll be providing that as well. And all the changes in the plans, so forth, will be all compliant with healthcare reform moving forward, January 1st, which means there'll be more benefits added to policies. So we're going to probably see a larger than usual increase at renewal time this year, because even though this mandate's been pushed back, there are all these taxes, there's a lot of new taxes that are being imposed in reference to this healthcare reform. There's 4 major taxes. One is called the HIP tax, the health insurance tax, and in your text, there's this lovely little chart here. Let me find it. I'll just pull one out, you know, it says taxes on it. And so the HIT tax is an $8 billion tax. It's going to go up to almost a $15 billion tax. And it's going to be applied to every insured plan. So basically add 2.5% to an increase to your health insurance. That's not even counting healthcare inflation or all the other taxes that are built into your health insurance premiums. And this is to help offset the cost of the exchange. Because this tax, this mandate that everyone has to buy health insurance is so small, young healthy kids are not going to pay health insurance. They're going to pay the penalty of $95. Or if you're earning $20,000 a year, it's a $200 tax a year. And you actually pay it, you don't even physically write out a check. If you do your taxes, you then deduct it from your tax return. So it's going to be a very...
How do they determine whether you have insurance or not? Who's policing that?
The honor system is very good.
So everybody's going to say that.
That's one reason why the W-2 reporting, somehow that information is going to filter to the government. It's not, we are going to be uploading a lot more information to the government, to the Department of Health and Human Services, and also to the IRS. Uploading, you know, there's going to be more and more compliance legislative requirements. And we're already doing it on cartridges, because we do it for the town, we have to upload all this information. Who knows where it goes? So we're going to be uploading, and we're going to be assisting, you know, all the groups on how to do this. So somewhere, all this is supposed to kind of blend together, and we're going to know that Jerry Dino has health insurance through the town of Chazy, and it's affordable, so we can't get a subsidy. But we'll wait and see what happens to that. So back to these taxes. So there's going to be this new HIT tax. This tax is going to provide money to get the exchanges up and running and to help keep the cost down within the exchange. The other tax is a reinsurance tax. It's going to cost about $5 per member per month, or a family on $16 per member per month a month. It's a lot of money. And that is a temporary tax to create the reinsurance pools to help offset the cost of the exchanges. Because the exchanges will have a certain insurance risk profile that they will cover up to, and then the reinsurance will pick up after that. So, because there's no more pre-existing conditions. So you can have not had health insurance, you're going to be able to go on the exchange, buy a policy, and you're covered. So liken it to buying your house is on fire, probably that happens, and you're calling and increasing your fire insurance as the house is going down. It's sort of the same principle. Can't do that. So the whole idea of the risk, the spreading of risk of insurance is kind of negated with this, with these new changes in health insurance. So it's all gonna come down bottom line cost. So, you know, I am the messenger of social. But we think, and from everything that we're reading, that the additional taxes are gonna go anywhere from a minimum of 3% up to probably 6% added to the cost of health.
Plus your already normal increase.
And the normal increase, now, the medical trend is starting to come down a little bit, and that's really being monitored a lot more, because there's this new, federal medical loss ratio. What does that mean? For every dollar Williams Excel takes in, for every dollar, 80 cents of that has to go to paying claims. It can't go to turning on the lights, paying a commission, to paying their employees. 80 cents of that dollar has to go to paying claims. And if it's not, if it's less than that, then they overcharge you for your insurance. And they have to give you a rebate. That's not happening in major carriers that work, that we have available to us. Excellus is really paying out about 85 to 88 cents if they tell us and what we read. And it's heavily regulated by the insurance company. So it seems that everything is in line there.
So all carriers are going to be mandated?
They have been to do that, every single carrier, yes. And for large groups, it's 85 cents, so it's for every dollar, 85 cents. So it is heavily regulated. But in addition to that, also the insurance companies have to put so much money aside for their own reinsurance, because in New York State, insurance companies don't go down. Like you hear other states, you know, Florida, less regulated states, insurance companies can go bankrupt. Now I'm getting into dangerous territory, I don't know, I know just enough to get in trouble with, but we're very heavily regulated here. And by being heavily regulated, we pay a lot more taxes. We pay, and there's a lot more requirements that are all embedded into the cost of the claim. So by using a broker, your costs are actually the same. If you call Excellus or Blue Shield or Empire Direct, you're going to pay the same premium. So there's no added fee for using someone like myself. So I was going to clarify that, because if you're really better, because you know with every dollar, I mean, you have a lot on your plate. For a town, you've got property tax cap, you have to worry about, you're trying to balance, benefits that keep going up, pay raises are not going up the same. So, I think we've done a pretty good job here of trying to keep a fine line about keeping high level benefits and keeping the employees happy. And last year we were able to move the retirees and really very well upset and saved a lot of money in that process. So hopefully we'll be able to continue that this year. Excellus is revamping, as is Blue Shield and everyone else, revamping all their policies so they meet all the criteria for healthcare reform with these certain actuarial values. We're going to metallic level from platinum to bronze. And the plan that we have is, I would call it between a gold and a silver plan. It's a very high level plan. But it's not going to affect us, so we don't have to worry about our plan being discontinued for like another year or two. So we're fine. We will just have to look at what our rate increases are, what benefits we're going to be usually looking at, if we need to tweak something to help keep the cost down, and so on. So your budgets, we'll start those in August. We'll have a better idea of cost then. And we're December 1st group. We're going to know our rates by September 1. So that's even better. So we'll know exactly what it's going to cost you. So we'll be in good shape from that standpoint, budget-wise. And there'll be very little movement on the charity side, so we'll be in good shape. We'll have great hard numbers to look at. So that's kind of in a nutshell what's on this page here. And I was hoping if anyone has a question or...
I have a question. What are they going to do for the people who are not computer literate? Because there's a lot of them.
You know what, that's an excellent question, and I just read that they are going to provide booklets for people that can be mailed to you to be completed. And there are going to be what they call navigators, and a navigator is a disinterested party, meaning they're not receiving a commission or working for the insurance companies directly. They're going to be able to assist you, like facilitators. They will be able to help you fill out those applications and how to do that.
And how are they going to keep the con people out of this, selling the insurance?
Well, you have to take a certain test, and you have to be there are certain requirements, so it isn't gonna be anybody. Like right now, even like Medicare Advantage plans, you have to pass this certain test you have to take, you have to register with the state in order to sell that. So there's gonna be a process for going through. That's a very good question, so that will be regulated. That's a good question. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm sorry to hear about Bucky. He was a very nice man. I was associated with the town for a very long time. Really, I like his company. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, that is perfect. You're very welcome. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So we'll open up the regular board meeting. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the last
I'll make the motion.
meeting?
Counselor Devens made the motion, second by Counselor Dino, to approve the minutes of the 6/10/2013 regular town board meeting as submitted. Roll call. Counselor West,
Yes.
Counselor Devens,
Yes.
Counselor Dino,
Yes.
Supervisor Speaker.
Yes. At this time, we will open up the floor for public comment session. Anybody would like to address the board?
Just a couple of things, Bob. First of all, Tim, I'd like to thank you and your men, Al Rasco and his men. I think all these highway departments have been very, very busy for the last 6 weeks. And the water is just coming fast and furious. And it seems like, Beaton Town's been very, very bad, but there was a couple of spots there on the O'Neill Road, and I ran into one of your men, I'll leave him nameless, but he said that you guys have been very, very fortunate. But again, thanks. Most of the time you're seeing people at their worst, and that's it's not always good, but these guys have done a very, very good job all over the county. We haven't had a finance meeting. I'll have some numbers for you by the end of the week. Sales tax is still coming in good, but like I said, no firm numbers. The airport numbers are up. We got an email a week ago, and they are above the 2012 numbers that were our best. So those numbers are back with basically one less carrier involved. And there's room for improvement. There's talk of a couple more destinations coming in. I know everybody's still looking for the New York or Pennsylvania connection, and we're working on that. But other than that, things have been hectic all over the place. And if you've got any questions of me, fire away. Things are moving. Oh, the bids are going out at the airport for the parking lot, and hopefully that can get started this year and finished up next year before they start the terminal expansion. So one stage at a time, and hopefully we can keep the turmoil to a minimum. But things are moving in the right direction.
Just have a few things I'll start tonight. It was brought up at the last meeting, I think Kathy might have brought it up about somebody had inquired about Ronnies Campsite and having one driveway coming out of the site. I received a letter from their manager, Becky McPhee. And it says, "Dear Supervisor Spiegel, this letter is a response to the complaint announced at the June 10th, 2013 Chazy Town Board meeting. We suspect this is a complaint made by an ex-customer who has been evicted from the property for harassment and for not following the campground rules. We believe this is a lame attempt to cause us and our business harm and harassment. We have worked with Kelly Donahue from Clinton County 911 Emergency Services on many occasions to ensure our property is listed correctly for the safety of all our customers and visitors to our property. Furthermore, we currently have 2 entrances, exits to the campground, while many campgrounds have only one. Please read this letter at the next town board meeting so the public can hear it." Did you receive that response?
It was more than one person, I think, but, I don't know.
a response that we received, so.
That's fine.
That a town highway through there? County?
To the campsite.
Lakeshore.
Lakeshore.
What was her last name?
Her name was Becky McKee,
She's the manager?
manager of Monty Bay Campsite, River, Brooklyn. You want a number?
No. Okay.
So I wanted to read that. Also, we sent something, Veronica Razda's brother-in-law passed away last month sometime, I believe, so we sent something from the town, flowers or something, and we did receive a little note from them that they would like us to read. Basically, it says, "Thank you for your heartfelt sympathy, care, and condolence. Your words and support were not only a comfort, but a source of strength from the boys and myself during this very difficult time. We are deeply grateful. Norma, Russ, and Steve Monty, and the family of Veronica and Kurt Razda."
Can you send something for Robert's, for these things?
Yes, we do. In fact, we have, that comes out of our personal funding, so we need to have everybody chip in. We usually throw in $10 a piece so that we can have money
Sure.
when somebody,
It used to be 12, and we decided 10.
Okay.
we bring it in and give it to Sue and so. While we're on buckets, wanted to talk about what we want to do with this seat, bucket seat. Well, do we want to just keep it open until the November election, or do we want to appoint somebody to take up that seat? No, no. Basically, my opinion is, and it's only one opinion, so talk amongst yourself. Elections are coming up in November. It's only a few months, and we have 4 of us now. I mean, if we're down to 3, I think we definitely need to, but, I don't think we need to really fill it, and I think it'd be an honor to him to keep it open until, the elections come up. But that's totally up to the board, whatever decision you decide. Any opinions?
I would agree.
It's less than half a year.
Right, and if
5 more meetings.
if one of the candidates that win in November, we can appoint that earlier than January.
Well, once the election's certified, when there's
Right.
vacancy like that, they can take the office sooner. They wouldn't wait till January.
Right, so I would agree with you.
But how will we determine,
There's 2,
there's actually 3 seats.
well, one of them is technically for Rick's.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, you probably couldn't at that point.
Well, no,
Do you know who?
He was up for election,
Yeah.
that it, re-election?
Yeah, well,
He was up for re-election for the 4 years, and there's 2 of them for 4 years. What do you think we're getting?
and one is for
Which
2
one of the
years.
2 4-year winners would be taken over?
Right, you wouldn't be able to do that.
That'll make it easier. Well, it would have, we would be able to do it after is elected.
To appoint her. Well,
Well, no,
but
she would-
because she still has her
Right,
position.
so then the other winner of the 4-year would be
Yeah.
this seat, the Muppets. Because the other one is for the 2-year that Dick is for.
Oh, this is true.
So Kathy, all you have to do is win.
Here we go. Right?
That's right.
So why don't we see how it develops? Leave it open until
And at
November.
that point, you're only talking about a month.
Right.
Yeah.
The election will be certified.
Yeah.
Right till the first of the
Yeah,
year?
just gonna cause high feelings, one way
Yeah.
or the other.
Yep, I agree.
There's no right way to do it.
I'll just wait till the first of the year and whoever gets elected will come in.
The person is,
Another
Pretty much
person.
it.
is who's running the city.
Well, we can discuss it at that time, and see if we want to plan at that time, or what we're doing, and what we want to do. Work has begun on the bridge down on the Lake Shore Road. I don't know if anybody's been down there now, but there is a detour now the bridge near La Point Road. So I just want to let you know they did start that. Another thing I wanted to bring up tonight, and this pretty much pertains to the people in the water and sewer district, but we've been having a lot of trouble lately with these new flushable wipes that they've come out with. And they're clogging up the pumps. People are using them as toilet paper. And they're not degrading, obviously, and they're like a hard fiber paper. And they're getting caught in the pumps, and our sewer mans have to go out numerous times to unclog pumping stations in the middle of the night and all over. So we're actually putting a notice in the water and sewer bills to let people know, please don't flush these down the toilet. They're not meant to be really flushed down the toilet in our type of a system, and please use toilet paper, and if you have to use these things, throw them in the garbage.
Go the old-fashioned way.
Well, but they are causing a real big problem, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
If you continue, how do you go check on
Yeah,
it?
Well,
how do we remedy it? How do we,
I don't know, put their name on it.
it's coming from.
no, I know.
I don't know.
You just gotta bring it to their attention and hope that they will read this and
Yeah.
become more aware, and maybe I can throw a little article in the paper. Maybe that would help too, you know. Just to let people know that it's a big problem, and I think that, you know, because a lot of people aren't, I might get this and throw it in the basket, who knows, but we are gonna send it to the buildings, and I think I'll let the press know that it's a problem, and see if they can throw a little blurb in for us.
Should we allude to the fact that if we continue to have problems like this, then
It's gonna,
their expense, their costs.
that's
is going
what
to
this
go
says,
up.
exactly what this says.
Okay.
Is the pump station, we have a pump station. We have two pumps going over by the new library. We have a spare, but that's right now seems to be our main problem over there. And there's another one on Minor Pond.
Where these flushable wipes are.
Oh, yeah.
It's showing up.
It's something new on the market.
And each
It's-
pump is around 2,000.
Can we determine where that sewer is coming from to that pump? So we could kind of get an idea as to what homes we're talking about, what people were.
I just want to bring it to your attention in case somebody questions it.
Track it down.
You're in charge.
I'll be the policeman.
We're gonna check on that.
I'll be the flushable white policewoman. Yeah, okay.
That's basically everything for tonight for me. Why don't we go around the table and see if anyone's got anything? Jerry, you got anything for me?
I just like to express our condolences to Bucket and his family. Bucket's family for his years of service. He was certainly a dedicated servant to the town. I had someone talk to me about they called the dog control officer about, they walk with their child in a stroller, and we've had a couple of instances where dogs have came out and, you know, after them, and they carry mace with them and whatever, because they're a runner also. So they called to see what the policy was for the town, and they were told not to use the mace. It just irritates the dog and makes him meaner. And they were told, because it's happened several times, they were told by the dog control officer they should probably kind of look at the law.
Yeah, you said that before. Might be told that to my neighbor
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
There's a leash law.
Right.
So I think that he can,
Well, and that, I think that's what the answer they were looking for. And it's not a small, you know, it's like a German Shepherd type dog. And this guy is a runner too, and he's encountered it a couple other times when he's running, which he said doesn't bother him as much as, you know, when he's got the stroller with him. It's a different, you know, so I know there's a leash law. So I just don't think that that's the answer that somebody should be getting when they lose a
Like I
complaint.
say, a couple years ago, they told my neighbor about they walk, and he said, no, you better find another place to walk or something like that.
Right.
I'll speak to the gun control officer and also tell them about the problem. And I think there's, it needs to be enforced a little bit better. I mean, it's not, should be able to walk wherever you want to walk, and run wherever you want to run, it should be.
Yeah, because I mean, we had the same problem up in Chazy a few years ago, I think, with the strollers and. Yeah, and we, yeah, so I mean, this was a few years ago, we went to Chazy that time, but, and this, I think, was her that spoke to. And the only other thing that I have is, I don't know if this is an actual account number or something on here, but if it should be. Is that a good account number? I just didn't know if it was.
I can wait it out.
It should be. Okay, wow, okay. Then I guess it's not a big deal then.
But I will wait that out.
Okay, that's all I have.
I also would like to express my condolences to the Chazy family, and as Jerry said, Dr. Goodwin really missed. Really don't have anything other than to say that the playground equipment is very, very nice, and greatly appreciate the hard work that the people put forth to get that completed. But aside from that, I don't have anything.
And just to go on, I know they mentioned Timmy and his crew, but
Yes.
first day that they put in the post and everything, it was raining quite a bit that day, and they still duked it out, and they were able to get them up, so that Saturday, everybody could get down there and plug together, so thank you, Timmy, and your crew. And
Yes, thank you, Tim. Also.
I will have that concrete repaired probably this week, with a lot of the tanks on it.
That was available.
We will get there, usually don't mix the cement anyway, so I couldn't do it. I don't know whose responsibility it is, but there's, I realize the ground is soft and we didn't, but there are numerous ruts around that plate area. I know there's some others around the walking path where some kids screwed it up last year too, but it's kind of nice to dress those up.
I'm not positive, but they did talk about putting some kind of a sidewalk in from, so that the kids could walk down the sidewalk and get to it.
You got nothing to do with that.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know where the tire tracks are right now? They kind of went in,
Yeah,
I don't know.
and around the back, there's
There's
quite a few, it'd be nice if there's.
some dirt in and I'll
Yeah,
talk to
we
you.
already plan on doing it, the roller, the small roller, once it dries up enough, we can go along with it.
I'm happy.
That's it?
I say I'm happy.
Okay. Timmy?
Well, we've been busy piping water, keeping up the roads, kind of again, just keeping it to a minimum before it gets too large, get the stone or in it and stop
Have
it.
we had a lot of damage from
On the old road, we,
over the
like
road?
the bridge, we had pretty good washout again, but we got rid on it, some thunder and fixed it. And, a little rock road, we had some washing up, but we already got that all fixed. So we're good on washing, that's all been fixed.
Where's the old rock road?
Going up from Route 22.
What's the loop?
If you went up McAdam Road and turn left and hit 22,
Yeah.
if you reach the street on your right, you know, where the white thing is, right across the road on the street.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a
Right.
road. In between the rain and wind fixing roads, we've been out hauling sand, so we gotta haul it in the fall, haul it now, so. We got, we're doing pretty good, we're about 250 roads already hauled right now, so. We're doing pretty good.
No, yeah, no.
Just what you want to do with that local law in terms of amending zoning. You've had the public hearing, there was more input. You want to adopt local law that will take care of that and put it in. there's some of the changes that are being talked about or proposed were already made last time we made some changes to the zoning ordinance. I thought Tom was gonna explain why he was asking for those, but I think it was just Leo and I have talked about it, and we think we would see where he was coming from in terms of looking at those changes. But there are a few cleanup changes, if you will.
That's what we missed the first time you said.
Yeah,
So we just never addressed them, so.
right. So we can do that. He also had proposed a change in the telecommunications siting law. I don't know if you want to do that change and go through that process of adopting. It's again, because it's a local law, you have to do it by adopting a new local law or amending that local law. You can't do it by resolution.
So he's the one that mentioned it to you?
Yes,
So what do
he
you
had proposed it. I might have gathered from you, we had some language you wanted to omit about notification, at least 15, having the,
Oh, wasn't that part of the proposal? To the changes to the zoning?
no, the two separate local laws.
Okay.
One is your local law regarding telecommunications, and the other is the zoning.
Okay.
So we could do them at the same time if you want to do those.
Yeah, I'd like to get, can you email me that?
Yep.
What I'll do is I'll send them out to everybody, or put them in the mail to you so you can read it for the next meeting. Just to give you a better idea what it's like, because I know they're going to, so.
I got that off of it.
You want to, you can take a couple minutes and just read through this right now, and then,
Well, they should have the proposed local law for both of them on their desk, set up a public hearing again on
so
that.
you want to wait till next meeting to do all this? And that way we can read this and,
Do you have this, Bill?
Yes, I do.
Same as you have.
okay, so let's do that for next meeting.
And then Time Warner, now that you've had that public hearing, you can adopt a resolution approving that franchise renewal agreement anytime.
You know that, you know? No?
The resolution I have. Okay.
Good? All right, we'll move on to resolutions then.
Okay, the first one you have, we've already done, surplus equipment. The second one, we've already done as a rejection. The third one is dental insurance renewal regarding.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Devens made a motion, seconded by Counselor Dino, to have Guardian dental insurance be renewed for 1 year. Any further discussion? Roll call, Counselor West,
Yes.
Counselor Dino,
Yes.
Counselor Devens,
Yes.
Supervisor Stevens.
Yes.
Okay, and the next one is the town clerk. I have it as town clerk, it can be, I guess, town clerk or supervisor.
Right.
So I don't know, I put it in as town clerk.
Everybody's in town clerk. That's fine. Most of the people are gonna come, I would think, serve it to you first, and
Yeah, if they go to the Secretary of State, this allows for filing with the Secretary of State is the new law, under general municipal law. There's a fee of $250 when they do it that way.
half of it are gonna come to us directly.
Right.
Okay, town clerk designated to receive notices of claims served upon Secretary of State. So far, I haven't seen that certificate that he's talking about.
It's online, I
It's
can send you
online
the
now, but I
site.
haven't looked at it yet.
Right. It's just to give them, once this resolution's
You
adopted,
can do it
your
online
contact
or
information.
mail it in.
You can do it online. The certification, so.
So what exactly is this?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
still
confused by it.
confused
I
by.
read it many
Before a
times.
tort
Yeah.
claim, before a tort claim can be brought against the municipality, within 90 days, say, Tim or Jim Shoe, but his truck is in an accident, and somebody wants to sue the town. you first have to file a notice of claim with the town within 90 days of that incident. That way the town has an opportunity to investigate, take a deposition if it wants, find out about the claim. And basically you're turning it over to your insurance carrier. Then they have 1 year to actually start the lawsuit. But it's just some additional protection for municipalities rather than being able to be sued directly right off as a result of some accident. They get this notice of claim and have opportunity to investigate. And then it provides a shorter statute of limitations. It's 1 year, 90 days, as opposed to if you're just suing an individual over an accident, for instance, some kind of tort claim, you have 3 years. So that's the idea of a notice of claim. What this new law adopted just a few months ago, I think, section 53 of the general municipal law, says from now on, instead of having to serve the town supervisor or the town clerk directly with this notice of claim, you can file it with the Secretary of State. And if you file it with the Secretary of State, there's a fee that can be charged by the Secretary of State up to $250. If it's filed with them, that's the proper 90-day notice to the municipality. In order for the town to then get that notice of claim that was filed with the Secretary of State, you need to adopt a resolution. Each municipality throughout New York State needs to do this. Adopt a resolution saying, okay, Secretary of State, if you get one of these notices of claim, this is where you send it to in the town supervisor, town clerk, and we get half of the fee that's being charged by the Secretary of State. So they're charging $250. When they get one of these, they're going to end up emailing it because they allow for an email notice, as well as mailing that notice of claim to us. And they'll send it, I don't know if they'll send a check, I'm sure you'll wait more than 90 days for that. But eventually you'll get $125 for having agreed to receive service of that notice of claim in that manner.
No, I thought they were charging us the $250.
No,
They're charging the person
The
filing.
person filing it has to
All right.
file it with a fee of $250.
Now, is there anything saying that somebody couldn't still serve me as town clerk?
No, I think they can still
They
serve the
still
town
serve
directly.
town, they don't
Yes.
have to go through the state.
So what's the reason for doing that?
Probably somebody came up with the idea that this would be a revenue generating
Yeah.
device, and plus, you know, a lot of times, you know,
Okay, it's not big here.
the
We don't
attorney
get
is
big
suing
here.
somebody maybe on the 88th day, 89th day, and if it's a small township, it may be hard to serve that notice of claim, so this gives them a definite, you know, entity to serve.
If we don't do this resolution and file this certificate with them, they would still notify us that we've got this notice of claim, but we wouldn't get that happen.
How much do you charge for
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Kathy made the motion.
it? I'll second.
Councilor Devens made the motion, seconded by Councilor Dino, and designating the town clerk to receive notice of claims for the Secretary of State. Any further discussion? Roll call, Councilor West.
Yes.
Councilor Dino.
Yes.
Councilor Devens.
Yes.
Councilor Speaker. Supervisor Speaker. Okay, next one is granting of cable television franchise to Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC.
I'll second.
Councilor Dino made the motion, seconded by Councilor Devens, to grant cable television franchise to Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC. Any further discussion?
Is it, this a 15-year commitment?
I believe it's in there.
Yes.
Yes. Is it pretty much what's been done in the past? And I'm not familiar
I
with
think
it.
they went from 10 years to 15 possibly.
Right, and it was recommended, the town had a consultant on this, there was a lot of work that's actually gone on, most of it 2 years ago. And they addressed a lot that was raised by us in terms of service to the school or service to town properties and whatnot. we ended up, and then there was an audit that was completed, and we had received some money on that. So we held off on finalizing the removal until that was done. And then a lot of the changes the consultant was recommending were things that should help increase revenue to the town in terms of the audits and what is included in gross income in determining the franchise fee. And they were recommending the 15 years as opposed to 10. That, I'm not sure why, but they felt it was in the best interest of the town to go for a longer franchise renewal. I thought it would be better to be short because we always have an opportunity to then renegotiate something. But it was felt that the longer renewal period was
Well, they pay the town so much,
3%.
3% of their what revenue or
Correct, correct. They could be, you could go up to, let's see, some of this is a couple of years old, but we had the board had an opportunity at one point to decide if we wanted to go to 4, 4.5, or even 5%. I think we go as high as 5. But it's really a pass-through fee because it gets added onto the franchise bill of the consumer. So the board felt, we could generate more revenue by increasing that percentage, but leave it at 3% because why tax?
That's what it costs the consumer.
Correct. Why cost our citizens more money?
The town generated over 21,000 last year.
That's just for the idea of them.
Using the town's right-of-ways in terms of locating cables.
Okay, roll call, Council West,
Yes.
Council Dino,
Yes.
Council Evans,
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
Next one is resolution authorizing the maintenance man to drive town maintenance vehicle home.
Well, we just discussed this a little bit. How often is he getting called out or to come after hours or, in the long run, are we gonna be better off to have him keep track of it and pay him mileage rather than go back and forth to work every day?
He probably comes out 4 times a week, maybe 3, 4 times a week.
There was one weekend he was out 4 times. That's not the case every weekend, but we've had just so many major problems with the sewer pumps. That's why.
Basically, what he has to do is when he gets a call, he's gonna drive down here, pick up the truck, it's got all the tools in it, plus he's got the flasher on top. Go out, fix the problem, bring the truck back here, get in his vehicle and go. I mean, he lives probably 5 miles from here. But he's been doing it like this, but he said, we gotta do something because I'm using my own gas, and I didn't realize, I know he was going out that many times, but he's never really submitted a bill to us for gas or anything.
Why haven't we been paying him mileage?
It's never been really brought up, or, and I offered to, I said, why don't you submit me gas mileage? We'll pay you the, government wage, which is around 55 cents a mile if you want. And says it's not only that, but it's just the pain of having to switch trucks in the middle of the night and then when it's 30 below zero and, it's more of a convenience. And I said, well, as I worded in here, is not to use it for anything but town maintenance problems. But she was sure that we wouldn't, so.
I guess it'd be kind of hard to say no to him when we do it in highway maintenance.
And I think he gets called out. He does get a call, because I get him at my house too, and I have to call him. And usually when he gets called, I get called, so I know what's going on.
I mean, I don't exactly like it, but,
Has there always been that many calls or?
Too much. It's pretty, there's a lot to the system and a lot to, maybe 3, 4 times a week you get called out. And some weekends it's here 2, 3 hours every time and trying to get a pump unstuck and there's always something on those things. I'm telling you, the pump stations are headache.
Do we do that?
Now, how do we handle that with his pay? Is that overtime when he's coming in?
Now we do comp time, we still do, like, they'll put in how many hours you went in, and we give it to them time off.
What do we do with, the former employee that, did he have a truck, did he rent a truck?
Again, we've never really done this before, but we, you know, there's always somebody using their own vehicle, and we've been fortunate, but, you know, we just got fed up one day and said, you know, we gotta do something about this. We ask going back and forth,
No.
how many times a weekend, and
Yeah.
Well, they should have been compensated for that,
Yes, they
there's
should have.
no question.
we didn't really budget anything for it.
We didn't budget anything for this either,
I know,
so.
he just thought this would be a simpler solution, or whatever, you know, I mean, it's,
I can't say that I'm for it, but I guess if I was in that position, I'd probably want something done quick.
And I agree.
I put
It's
myself,
well worded, yeah.
I put myself in his position.
I agree with
I
you.
agree.
we'll have to come down, start the truck, let it warm up when it's cold out, and I'll tell you what, in the middle of the night, some nights, he goes down there at 12, 1 o'clock, and it's cold, and
Sure it is.
Is it more since you've been using the towelettes?
double lines.
The flushable
Oh,
lights.
actually, it is more, it's happening more because of them, but, the other day, he found somebody flushed down 2 pieces of wood. And he got caught in the pumps, and I couldn't believe it, I mean, somebody broke a piece of wood apart, and
That's who
somehow it
that-
got down the sewage
That's
system,
what
and
that kid too.
he flushed stuff like that.
Or maybe a kid.
We
Put
found
anything down there.
all kinds of stuff in there.
Dental floss,
What's
Sorry?
that?
the dental floss,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
roll of
Well,
dental floss.
The school is a major problem. This pump station down here, if he doesn't go down and clean it out once a week, every Monday, usually he goes down and cleans it out. You know, if you pulled it up, and you saw what was in there, you laughed, and we told the school, and they put up signs saying, nothing down the toilets, like toilet paper, but they flush everything and anything down there.
The whole problem can't read there anyway.
It's yours.
I guess I'd go for it. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Counselor West made the motion, second by Counselor Devons, authorizing maintenance man to drive the town maintenance vehicle home. Any further discussion? Roll call. Counselor West,
Yes.
Counselor Dino,
Yes.
Counselor Devons,
Yes.
Supervisor Scribble.
Yes.
Next one are budget transfers.
I'll make the motion.
Counselor Devons made the motion, second by Counselor Dino. 2013 budget transfers. Any further discussion? Roll call, Counselor West,
Yes.
Counselor Dino,
Yes.
Counselor Devons,
Yes.
Supervisor Scribble.
Yes.
And next one is payment of claims.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Counselor Dino made the motion, second by Counselor Devons. Any further discussion? Roll call, Counselor West,
Yes.
Counselor Dino,
Yes.
Counselor Devons,
Yes.
Supervisor Scribble.
Yes.